Little update on the Vette, what I'm working on as of right now anyway. Right behind me on the right hand side on the floor is my new transmission, monster transmission, and this yellow guy right here, that's my drive shaft, differential, 3.55 gear ratio. Had this built specifically for a 3.55 gear ratio, and I upped my ratio for a couple reasons. Primary reason is my engine is a 383 stroker, 415 horsepower. Should be showing up any day. So in the meantime, while I've been waiting on the engine being built for me, in the process of changing out the lower control arms, actually not changing them out, just updating them. So here are both of my lower control arms, left and right, changing out all of the bushings, right here, whoops, right there. And then of course, while I had the control arms apart, making oracles. I think if you buy oracles and have them installed, they're like $400 to $600 or so. I've got $28 in steel, and probably cost me maybe $15 in LEDs to make it look super cool behind the mags. This is what you'll see me grinding in the video here in just a minute. And then here's my steel that I'll curve. And what am I doing on the curve? Basically take and plant these little guys. I say plant them. I'm gonna weld them, obviously. They get welded just like this in multiple locations on the dustpan on both the front of the car and the back of the car. And then that piece of metal goes around the edge, and LEDs go on here, so it shines inside of the rim. Super cool looking when it's finished. But so I'm gonna take these little angle irons that I made. They're the supports for the rim, for the oracles. Hold them on with a magnet. You might barely be able to see down here. Then I'll tack weld it. Hold it exactly where I want it, which is gonna be level to the outside of this rim. See if I can get a close-up of this baby. Then I'm gonna tack weld that sucker on there. And then I'll weld it real good as soon as I'm done tacking it. Put on my gear and load it up. Obviously you can see I've changed clothes, put some jeans on and my welding shirt. It's a fire retardant welding shirt. It's kind of important. Okay. All right, here we go. Give us a little tack, mate.
heck with tacking it, just went ahead and welded it on there. Most of the time you just are tacking for the simple reason you don't want to weld your magnet onto your surface by accident. It's not going anywhere, mate. Ow! Helmet just pulled the hair on my head. Yowzers. All right. Do this 5 more times, and I'll be ready to weld the ring up on there. All right, so I've already done my first tack weld, and I've sanded, or grinded actually, every connection. So the back side of here, the top edge of here, inside of here. Now I'm gonna go ahead and weld it all together. I'll do it in time lapse a little quicker that way. Here's what the semi-finished product looks like. All welded on. Really close to the dustpan, as you can see, but has a little bit of an air gap that allows it to cool somewhat anyway. So I'll have to grind off this little bit of a lip right here and right here. I'm about to grab the grinder, and I got to cut this off right here. I got to touch it because it's wicked hot right now. Then I'll go ahead and paint it with chassis saver and ready to install. Also, while I have the car apart and waiting for the engine, I'm spending time doing everything right, essentially. These are all of my brake lines, replacing all of these. So as you can see, even though I've sandblasted the entire car, including this, when sandblasting the main frame, I used 850 pounds of sandblast sand. Now, since there's rust on the outside, there's likely rust on the inside of my brake lines as well. I'm sorry, my gas lines, as well as inside of my brake lines. So inside of that box are a million little pieces, which are all of my brake lines and the hard brake lines and what have you, and replacing those as well. So in taking everything apart, obviously there's a billion little bolts and nuts and all that kind of stuff. So for giggles, took and sandblasted every single nut, every single bolt, and then spray painted it for fun. And yeah, my sons asked me, Dad, why are you busy painting all of this stuff that's on the underside of the car that no one's ever gonna see? Well, I see it, I know it's there, and it's fun, and now it's done right. And by the way, this chassis saver product, I highly recommend. Super, super strong, almost like an epoxy, very, very thick, dries very, very quickly in about 30 minutes to the touch, but you can, without sandblasting, put it right on a rusty chassis and it'll save it. Maybe that's why they call it chassis saver. Anyway, that's today's video. Here they are painted up. The new Oracle frame. And the control arm, left control arm put into place. As you can see, I sandblasted all the interior and all these wedges in here. New bolts, installed those, put brand new shocks on. XLG shocks, they're KYBs. And this support, actually the spring mounts to the underside. Actually, that supports the front edge of the differential, but right the back of the differential holds the spring, which is over there. But there's the right side control arm. So I've got to finish bolting the shock on. I've got those extra bolts and such. I had to sandblast and paint, so it'll be dry tomorrow.
That's my update as of now. Stay tuned and you'll see a little more progress as I'm going.